Hey, Wolfgang. Okay, so what I want to know is how does one become a board game editor? I have a pretty good idea of how I could go about becoming a designer if I wanted, but an editor? Tell me the story, man.
For the love of the games, of course. Um, the normal way today is to apply for a trainee position at Kosmos at our Stuttgart headquarters. It will be a 2 years trainee, and there you learn everything what you need to know to be an editor. In my case, it was different. I was a part-time games reviewer, and in this position, I made the friendship of Klaus Teuber, and he asked me when he wanted to start a new company, TM Spiele, which he has founded together with the late Rainer Müller, the original editor of Catan. Um, he asked me and he asked another a friend of us if we want to join the company. And that was my start into the editing business. So I was proofreading game rules. I have done lots of play tests, and then we were hired. Our company was hired by Goldsilver Games. Maybe you still know that company. And as an outsourced editorial team, and in this position, then we moved to Kosmos in actually 1997. So for 16 years we worked for Kosmos in this very much position that we have done most of the family and adult games for Cosmos, also some of the children games. But when we finally decided to close our company, then Cosmos asked me if I want to work directly for the company. And since they know me and I know the company and they have lots of good products, of course, I said, yeah, I want to join you. And that's the way how I became an editor.
I am Rustan Håkansson. I work with Wolfgang on Tribes and Cities Skylines. How many games have you been the editor for? What is the highest number of games in a single pile that you have knocked over?
Actually, I don't know exactly. I don't have a track record of all the games I have edited or have been involved till 1996. But I think it's around 130 to 150 games which I was involved. And regarding your other question, that's an insider. I think when I stumbled last time about a stack of games, I smashed 12 of them.
Hi, I'm Ella from Ella Loves Board Games and a contributor to the Dice Tower. My question is, if you were invited to a game night and you didn't know the people who were coming, what five games would you bring?
Yeah, well, what kind of games will I bring? If I don't know these persons, of course I will bring Catan. It's the best opener which I know, and I have played it hundreds of times. So it's the best way to get to learn somebody who haven't been known before. And if there are just two players, I would bring Lost Cities. It's an easy game by Rainer Knizia. Everybody knows it, of course. It's a great one. If it's more in the creative area, I like to play and bring the Dodels. This is another Klaus Teuber game where you do something of clay and other people have to guess what you have done, but you don't have to be too concrete and not too abstract. So it's a really fun thing. And let me think oh yeah, if you're really in a party mode and want to play with 8, 10, or even 12 people, then I will bring Word Slam. The Word Slam Family Edition is a great opener. It's so much shouting around and laughing, and it's just hilarious. Um, and if you would ask me this same question, let's say in a 2 month or so, then I would tell you I will certainly bring Switch and Signal. This is a new cooperative train game by David Thompson, which we will release in October. And this is a really, really great little. No, it's not that little, but it's a great gateway cooperative game. And although these were already five, I think, but um, I will. In my bag, you will always find an exit game, which I will bring just in case somebody is interested to learn how to escape on a table in a box.
Hi Wolfgang, this is Dan Jolin, the editor of Senate magazine here in the UK. And my question for you is really from one kind of editor to another kind of editor. Quite a basic question really, but I'm curious, what exactly does a board game editor do? Is the editing more in your selection of the games themselves, or is it more about the process that you go through once you've signed up a game and you're in the thick of the design? So yeah, I'd be fascinated to hear that. Thanks.
An editor, yeah, actually, an editor does almost everything. I tell you, almost. But it starts with finding new games, new game ideas, either by getting a game idea sent to, and then ask for the prototype to do some playtests, or you find some games, new game ideas on conventions, or when you're here at UK Games Expo at speed dating event, there are so many chances to find new game ideas. And if there's a game idea and we have played it with our playtesters and with my colleagues at Kosmos, and we all love this game and we want to do it, then we will convince our main board at Cosmos, and then we will think about, okay, what shall we do with this game? Shall we keep the theme? Shall we change the title? What setting will we choose? Should be the one which was has the original setting, or shall we change it to a more modern or even more antique setting, or more fantasy setting, whatsoever? And then we have to decide who do the artwork for this game. So, which is the illustrator who can really complete or bring the game to life by his work. And when this is done or not, it's a process which is during the work. We are still working on the game, but also we are deciding about the components. Should it be wood? Should it be plastics, model plastics, or should it be just cardboard, standees? And so this depends, of course, of the price point which you're aiming at. And finally, the editor also does the text for the box. We are writing the rules, reviewing the rules of other editors as well, and then finally the game is finished.
Hello Wolfgang, my name's Adam from Gaijin Gamer and I have a question for you. And my question is, what is your favourite open world RPG and why? Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not very much into role-playing games, either video games or tabletop role-playing games. So the only thing I can tell you, if you ask me for a fantasy world, I'm very much into the Andor world. So if you have the chance to play Legends of Andor, the board game, yeah, you should do it next time.
Hey, Marco Armbruster, illustrator from Germany here. Wolfgang, I have a question for you. With your experience after working several years in the board game industry, what would you say makes a good and successful game graphic and illustration? And how important is the artwork for selling a board game?
Of course, good artwork is important for the game, at least for the start of the game, because it supports how the game is reviewed or perceived by the audience. And so let's tell the box art. The box art tells you something about the world which we want to bring to the people, and therefore it should really have something to do with the game idea or what's inside, and the other components have to go with it as well. So yes, for a start, artwork is really important, and it's just more fun to play with great art pieces of artwork rather than just, let's say, average stuff. But on the other hand, if the game is not good, then great artwork doesn't help. And there are other cases that the game was not, or the artwork for the game was not very good, not very special. But when the game is really something unique, then will be successful or could be successful even with not so good artwork. But I prefer to work with very good artwork and with artists who really like what they do, doing their job, and bringing life to the games which we do.
Hi, Chris from Tabletop Gaming here. You can find us at tabletopgaming.co.uk. My question for you is, what is the most underrated gateway game of the last 5 years?
Oh yeah, there are so many games coming and going. So yeah, I think one of the games which we think is mostly underrated is our game La Boca, which is pretty much more than 5 years old. I don't know exactly, but it was or it still is, but not in our program any longer. But it's a three-dimensional puzzle game where always two players play together but each player only sees his side or his part of the buildings. So you have to be in time. So it's really a fun game, but it never was successful enough to keep it in our program. Oh, and yes, and if you ask me for another game, I think Magomak. I don't know if you even know it because it was not very long in our program. It's a Klaus Teuber game with magnets. So it's a dexterity magnetic game where you have a board vertically between you and the other player, and one moves the magnet, but he does not see where to move, so you have to direct him, saying up, 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 this way, faster, 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 and so it's a great game. I think one of the problems that we have faced later is you must have at least 3 players to play the game, and this could be a problem, and probably the artwork was not that great. So maybe we'll do this game again one day, and then we will do many things in a different way.
Hi, Wolfgang. It's Phil Walker Harding here, coming to you from Sydney, Australia, and I have a question for you. You've been developing many games for a long time, and I was wondering what is the biggest challenge or problem that you have come up against during the process of development, and then how did you solve that problem? I'd love to hear about that. Thanks. See ya.
Most challenges we were faced, or I'm faced frequently, is of course a surprise. How to reach a certain price target with the components we need for this game to have an attractive game, but also something which is affordable. Um, and another problem which occurs sometimes is the components, and it's mostly then when you have three-dimensional components. I remember the game Snapshot by Rüdiger Dorn, which was a kind of it was a dexterity game, and kind of I've forgotten its name. It's not Carom, it's the other one. Okay, so you flick discs, and we wanted to bring this game into a box, put everything in a box, and therefore we made the whole square-sized arena which you need for this game of cardboard, which can fit in the box, and then you can fold it and have it on your table. And I think it works quite well, but the game was no success, unfortunately. And if I go even more back in time, there was a game in English was called Techno Witches by Heinrich Glumpler, and was a very original racing game. Actually, it was a racing of witches riding vacuum cleaners, and it is a kind of tabletop race. So you have cardboard tiles which you put next to each other, and but you have to program your turn first. So it's a bit like Robo Rally. So you have to think, okay, where should I go there and there? Oh, and if somebody is then in my way, I have to cope with this. So yes, these were some of the challenges I have been faced in my career.
Hey, how's it going? My name's John. I'm from the gaming group Friday Night Games, and we are huge fans of The Crew. We want to know, how was it pitched to you? And what part did Kosmos have in the development of the game? And what about it made you want to publish it? And obviously, we want to know if there's anything exciting coming out on the horizon. Thanks a lot.
Great, you like The Crew. Actually, this is something special, and we knew it from the start. But the way it got to us was not that special. Thomas sent it to us because we were in contact already, and just rejected one of his games, but was in a kind manner, as we always do. And then he thought, okay, then I'll try my next game with Kosmos. And when we read the rules and said, or had a thought about it and said, okay, the game, if it plays so well as it sounds, then it's great. It should be a very great game. And it happened that we had a playtest weekend right after we got the game, and there it was taken by storm by the audience. So the playtesters just loved it, and they were eager to teach it to other people. And on Sunday morning they started a new round. Saturday night they played till 3 o'clock. So we knew this game has to be done by us. We were stupid not to do it. And therefore we got in contact right on Monday and said, Thomas, we want to do your game. Is it still free? And yeah, from the beginning it was this science fiction or this space themed game with these missions, all these different levels. And he already had the storyline, so all the dialogues, or let's say the story elements, were there as well. But during the development process, my colleague Kilian, who were the editor of this game, worked closely with the artist Mark Ambruster, and they put lots of little Easter eggs in the game, and to give it a special feeling, even if it's just a trick-taking game. At the beginning, we were thinking about, shall we really keep the science fiction theme? Because from the past, we knew science fiction, at least as a mainstream mechanism or theme, is not very popular. But we thought it fits so well, so we should, let's say, we should risk it. Why should we change it when it fits that well? The only very challenge we still had to say to solve was the card where you communicate with your other players. So people forgot how that they have a card in front of them which they still have to use, which is still in play. And somebody lately came to the idea to say, okay, I give you a card which you put in your hand instead as a reminder. So this was a very, very clever idea. And what was the other question? Oh, yes. I don't know if you have already seen the 15 Deimos missions which you can find for free on our website. So you have 15 new missions which you can play, which has some little different rules. And yeah, and of course, you probably know there are more crews in the world, and not just in space. You will find crews to explore other places, and maybe next time.